Good morning. So in today's video, we are essentially preparing for 2025, which is just crazy to me. It feels so surreal, but also very exciting. And this is going to be over the span of maybe a week or two. And we're just going to be setting ourselves up so that when 2025 hits, we can hit the ground running and not feel like we're behind because we've already got our habits in place and we've already got clarity of what our intentions are for the year. Now, this has been inspired by the winter arc videos I've seen around a lot recently, and it took me a minute to figure out what this meant for me, but it all has to do with my creative pursuits. So if you're new here, hi, I'm Aman. I speak about writing, reading, and painting, and anything else that takes my fancy. And in the past 6 months or so, I've really delved into my hobbies and my creative passions and what they mean to me, and also figuring out what they are. This started off with painting, which led to reading, which led to writing again. And this has helped me rediscover my childhood passion and dream of wanting to be an author and wanting to write, which feels so scary to even say out loud, but also incredibly exciting. And so we are going to be preparing for 2025 with the idea that during the course of next year, I will be writing my first ever manuscript. Now, I have never written a manuscript before. The most creative writing I have done is probably not since my English language GCSE, which was about 7 or 8 years ago. So it's been a while. So this entire process is going to be brand new to me, and I will be documenting the entire process and journey on this channel. So make sure to subscribe so that you can join me along the entire journey. And this is going to be exciting, it's going to be challenging, but it's going to be fun as well. The first aspect that I want to work on before 2025 starts is my habits. And this is beginning with the content I consume. I have managed to kind of just naturally start watching a lot more AuthorTube and also reading vlogs. And this has really helped me get so much more motivated and excited for my own creative pursuits. So I want to bring this into my day-to-day more often through podcasts. I love podcasts. I listen to them a lot, especially when I'm commuting into work, because I do have a day job and I will be following my creative pursuits outside of that. And so I love listening to podcasts on my commute to and from work because I think they just fill the time. They make me feel so much more excited and ready for the day. So I've done a little bit of searching and I found a few writing podcasts that I want to start listening to. And that is what we're going to do. I'm going to go on a walk right now and start listening to a couple of these. And yeah, let's go. So that was a lovely walk. I actually ended up listening to 2 podcasts. One of them is called The Essential Guide to Writing a Novel, and I listened to the first episode, which is called Learning and Getting Better at the Craft of Writing. So this was definitely a beginning episode to not just the podcast, but writing itself, which I think was perfect for me because it definitely helped me open my mind up to the idea of writing again. Now, I have been writing kind of personally, but to really actually delve into my imagination and stick to it and be consistent in it, not only that, but also document it on here is actually kind of overwhelming or very overwhelming. So allowing myself to just open up to the idea of writing again and the enjoyment of it is just a perfect way to start me off and to remind me that that is the focus. It's the enjoyment I get from writing and from following my creative pursuits that is the priority. And so yeah, I really enjoyed that episode. I also found another podcast, which is the second one that I listened to today. And the podcast itself is called The Fantasy Writers Toolshed. And the episode is called The Writing Process with Daniel Polanski. So the podcast itself is all about fantasy writing, which is perfect for me because not only do I love reading fantasy books, but I would definitely be writing fantasy novels, especially my first manuscript, because the ideas that I have are all fantasy related. So this is a perfect podcast for me for that. And the writing process, I believe they have like a series where they speak to different authors about their own writing process, which I think is great because every writer has a different process, and it's really made me get excited for what my process will be. And I think being able to hear other authors' will allow me to maybe experiment with mine and also possibly integrate other aspects and get ideas on how to make my own process even better. So that was a really interesting listen as well. And these podcasts has just got me so excited to write. I'm so excited to delve into my own process and my own development and journey of it. So I will definitely be integrating it into my day-to-day much more often, especially on my commutes, because I can listen to quite a few podcasts during my commute. So I think that will just really help spark my enjoyment and imagination again, which is great. Now, the next aspect that I want to work on in terms of my routine is creative writing itself, which possibly the most important part, but I have been writing a newsletter bi-weekly where previously these were mostly thought pieces, but I've kind of shifted into creative writing pieces. And this can be anything from poetry to a description to maybe using a prompt to write something creative. And it's just a way for me to flex my writing muscles. And if you want to check that out, then check out in my description the link to that newsletter. And it's also on Substack. So if you already have the app, then just follow me on there as well. But that has been great. But part of this is actually I need to allow myself to explore my own ideas in terms of novels or novellas or manuscripts. And that is very daunting, a little bit scary, because it's not something I've ever really followed through with before, but it is something that I did on Friday. So I will let the me from Friday take over now. Good morning, it is a Friday. I have been looking forward to today all week because I have the day off from work, and today I have planned to go to a cafe to firstly read a little bit because I've been in a bit of a reading slump recently. So I'm going to start reading this book and get into the book a bit more. And the second, which is very exciting but also terrifying, which is in continuation of this idea of a winter arc and kind of prepping for 2025, I'm essentially going to be sitting down and brainstorming ideas for a novel or a novella, a fiction book. More likely to be a novella because this is my first time ever trying to do this. And to say I'm terrified is an understatement because I've been toying with this idea only recently. However, because I have been reading a lot more recently, I've been watching a lot of AuthorTube, I've just been allowing myself to explore a bit more with writing as well. And all of this has reignited my childhood dream of being an author and just writing. So I'm going to bring that to life today and explore and brainstorm ideas so that when 2025 starts, I can possibly start writing a novella, and perhaps this will kickstart many passion projects. Will these projects ever see anyone's eyes other than myself? I don't know. We will see how that goes, and maybe one day. But instead of psyching myself out with that thought, I'm just going to brainstorm, have a bit of fun, explore a bit and play around with a few ideas. And I'm so excited to do so. It feels very aligned to where I am right now and just a way for me to hone in on this craft, enjoy it, and see what I can do with it, see if it is something that I do want to take further, and just have a bit of fun and really get myself psyched up for 2025. So that is what I'm going to be doing today. So I am back home now. That was so much fun. I don't know why I've never done that before, but it's definitely something I will do more often. I didn't read that much because I got distracted pretty quickly with food. And after I ate, I just kind of wanted to start brainstorming, which I did. And I got all of my ideas down and I definitely started to develop them. This is definitely a fantasy book, possibly a romantasy or a fantasy with a romance subplot, but that is something that will develop later on. I think I might want to do this as a dual perspective from the main character's POV and also her love interest, but I don't know if that might be too difficult for me to do, but that is my idea at the moment. This is a magical world for sure, and trying to figure out what the magical system will be is causing me a bit of trouble, but I'm glad that I've started to think about it. In terms of the arc of the characters and the background of the world itself, I've got the first ideas there, but they absolutely need a lot more development. Even just getting all of these ideas down is an achievement for me because I've never done that with a novel idea ever. So just getting that down has made me really proud of myself. And also this has got me so excited to continue with this project and just start writing more and making this more of a priority. So that has also been a huge achievement today and I'm so happy with how the day went. I also started to put together a Pinterest board for this book and I definitely want to develop that more soon as well. I do have a bit of trouble with the creative writing process in general, so I've looked at a couple of courses online that I think I want to do before I take this any further, just so that I have a bit more confidence and I'm a bit more comfortable with starting to outline this or develop my ideas even further. So I will see you next when I do that. Good afternoon. It is the middle of the day now because I had a very nice, peaceful, quiet morning. And I think the last clips you saw were where I spent an afternoon essentially brainstorming my novel ideas and my first ever manuscript. And I came to the conclusion that I would like to do some courses, just like base courses about creative writing and novel writing, because it's been so long since I even attempted to creative write, and I've never attempted to write a manuscript ever before. So because of that, I absolutely need to do some courses, and I would just feel more comfortable if I did a few before I try to continue brainstorming and things like that. So I explored and I did a bit of research. I found a few on Skillshare that I would like to do, and I also found some free ones on Reedsy, and I made a list of all of the courses I want to do, and it has ended up being about 18 courses. Now I don't think individually they will take very long to do because they are kind of short ones, but I obviously then, once I've done them, I would like to apply what I've learned into my current manuscript and just to develop my skills and things. So today I am going to start working through that list essentially and kind of have a study day at home. It's been so long since I really studied anything. I am kind of excited to do this, and I can obviously take it at my own speed and just enjoy the process of learning a bit more about this craft and get back into writing again and enjoying the whole process and learning more as I go along. So that is what I will be doing today. So I ended up doing 2 courses, both of which were from Reedsy, and they were both free, so I will link them in the description if you would like to do them as well. The first one was called Novel 101, and just as the title claims, it essentially gave the basics to novel writing, which really just helped me wrap my head around even writing a novel, and it gave summaries about structure, POV, and scenery, and a few others, and just gave a nice foundation for me to work from. The second course I did was called Understanding POV. The reason I chose this is because I believe that I want to write my manuscript from a dual person perspective, one from the main character and the second from her love interest, but I was also contemplating third person perspective, and this course essentially gave really nice concise summaries of each type of perspectives, why an author might choose one over the other, pros and cons for each, and also examples for each of them as well. So I really loved this particular course, and it gave me an amazing understanding of perspectives, and I can of course refer back to my notes when I do want to decide in the future. I enjoyed both of these courses, and I'm definitely going to continue working through my list just to help me get more comfortable with creative writing, especially novel writing, and of course give me that base understanding so that I can continue to enjoy learning and exploring this craft. I'm so glad that I started working through these courses because it's made me feel a lot more comfortable with where I'm heading in this craft and just understanding it a lot better. So I would definitely be continuing with more courses at a later date. I also like that it's just helping me gain more confidence with writing as well, which is of course important. Now overall, in the past week and a half, my aim was to essentially set myself up so that when 2025 starts, I can hit the ground running rather than feeling like I was behind. And I definitely think I've already started that because I've gained a lot of clarity in the direction I want to go, with not only wanting to write a manuscript and allowing myself to follow that dream, but also gaining clarity on the fact that I do want to do a few courses and practice in that sense, and just allow myself to brainstorm as well and play around with my ideas, explore a bit, just set myself up so that I really feel comfortable with following this path. I really enjoyed going to a cafe and brainstorming. Also liked integrating these habits into my life, such as listening to the podcast and just allowing myself to have a lot more fun with it and to continue to explore that as well. So I will be continuing to document this journey on this channel, so make sure to subscribe so that you don't miss any of that. Other than that, I hope you are enjoying your creative pursuit as much as I am enjoying mine. I will see you in the next one. Bye.